Before you knew her name, she was just Shanann, a woman who loved hard, a woman who fought harder, and a woman who dreamed the biggest dreams you could imagine. Today, we're doing something different. We're not talking about how her story ended. We're talking about how she lived. Because Shanann Watts was so much more than a headline. She was a daughter who called her mom every single day. She was a fighter who beat odds that doctors said were impossible. She was a mother who loved her babies with every breath. For the next hour, you're going to meet the real Shanann. Not the victim the world knows, but the woman her family remembers. The friend people still miss. The light that burned so bright. This is her story, and it starts long before the world knew her name. So let me ask you something. Who was Shanann Watts before everything changed? The answer might surprise you. Shanann was born in New Jersey, but North Carolina is where she became who she was. Her parents, Frank and Sandra, they weren't rich, but they were something better. They were present. Every school play, every bad day, every big moment, Frank and Sandra showed up, and Shanann noticed. She grew up in a home where family meant everything, where Sunday dinners weren't optional, where you picked up the phone when someone needed you. Her little brother Frankie looked up to her. She was the big sister who protected him, who made him laugh when he was sad, who taught him how to be strong. Their Zusek family didn't have everything, but they had each other, and that's what mattered most. Now here's what people remember about young Shanann. She walked into rooms like she owned them, not in a mean way, in a confident way. She made friends easily. She made people laugh even easier. Teachers loved her because she tried hard. Friends loved her because she was loyal. If you were Shanann's friend, you were family. She remembered your birthday. She checked on you when you were quiet. She showed up when nobody else did. People who knew her back then say the same thing. Shanann had this energy about her, this light. You wanted to be around her because she made life feel bigger. She had goals written down in notebooks. She had dreams she talked about like they were already real. Most people dream small. Shanann dreamed like limits didn't exist. And here's the thing. That confidence, that determination, that fight, she was going to need every bit of it. Let me tell you about Shanann and her parents. Most people grow up and drift away from their families. Not Shanann. She talked to her mom Sandra every single day, sometimes twice a day. Even as an adult, even with her own life happening, she needed her mom's voice. Frank, her dad, he was her rock. The kind of dad who would drop everything if she called. Sandra says Shanann was her best friend. Not just her daughter, her best friend. They talked about everything. The good stuff, the hard stuff, the scary stuff. No secrets. No distance. Just love. Frankie, her brother, he says Shanann was his hero. She taught him how to be brave, how to stand up for himself, how to love people the right way. Their Zusek family had something special, something rare, a bond that nothing could break. Not distance, not time, not even death. But here's what you need to know. Shanann's path to happiness wasn't going to be easy. Something was coming, something that would test her in ways she never imagined. A diagnosis that would change everything. Imagine being young and healthy. Then one day, your body starts attacking itself. That's what happened to Shanann. She was diagnosed with lupus. Now, if you don't know what lupus is, let me explain it simply. It's an autoimmune disease. Your immune system gets confused. Instead of fighting off germs, it fights your own body. Your joints hurt. You get tired for no reason. Simple things become hard. And for Shanann, the news got worse. Doctors told her getting pregnant might not be possible. Her body couldn't handle it. The risk was too high. For most people, that would be devastating. For Shanann, it was just another challenge to overcome. She looked at those doctors and basically said, "Watch me." Because here's what you need to understand about her. Shanann didn't accept limitations. She didn't believe in impossible. She believed in fighting. And fight is exactly what she did. Living with lupus isn't easy. Some days, your body just doesn't work right. You wake up exhausted. Your joints ache like you're 80 years old. Simple tasks feel like climbing mountains. But here's what's amazing about Shanann. She never complained. Her family says she never played the victim. She adjusted her life around the disease. She took her medicine. She went to her appointments. She did what needed to be done. But she refused to let it define her. She still went out with friends. She still chased her dreams. She still believed in tomorrow. Her support system rallied around her. Sandra and Frank became experts on lupus. They learned everything they could to help their daughter. Frankie made sure his sister never felt alone. Friends checked in constantly. But mostly, Shanann stayed strong for herself. She had plans, big plans, and a disease wasn't going to stop her. Sandra and Frank talk about this time with so much pride. They watched their daughter face something terrifying, and they watched her refuse to break. Shanann focused on solutions, not problems. When doctors said no, she asked why not. When her body said stop, she said not yet. Frankie, her brother, he said something powerful. He said Shanann beat all odds, not just with lupus, with everything. She was the kind of person who turned obstacles into stepping stones, who saw closed doors as challenges, not endings. This strength, this determination, this absolute refusal to quit, it would become her superpower. Because despite everything doctors told her, despite the risks and the warnings and the statistics, Shanann had one dream she refused to give up. She wanted to be a mom, and nothing was going to stop her. Not even her own body. But could she actually do it? Could she really become a mother with lupus? Keep watching, because what happens next is nothing short of miraculous. So here's the moment that changed everything. Shanann found out she was pregnant. Against medical predictions, against all odds, against everything doctors said was possible. She was going to have a baby. Now, her friends were worried. Her family was nervous. Everyone knew the risks. Lupus and pregnancy don't mix well. Her body could reject the baby. She could get seriously sick. Things could go very wrong. But when you looked at Shanann, you didn't see fear. You saw pure joy. She was finally getting her dream. She was going to be a mom. The pregnancy wasn't easy. She had to be monitored constantly. Doctor visits became weekly, then more. Every day was uncertain. But Shanann never wavered. She talked to her belly. She played music for her baby. She prepared like everything was going to be perfect. And you know what? It was. Bella Marie was born healthy, beautiful, perfect in every way. Shanann cried when she held her. Not sad tears, grateful tears. She had beaten the odds. She had her miracle. In her own words, she said, "I beat the odds." And she absolutely did. Most people would stop at one miracle. Not Shanann. A couple years later, she got pregnant again. Another impossible pregnancy. Another risk doctors warned about. Another chance that something could go wrong. But Shanann believed in miracles now. She had already proven everyone wrong once. She could do it again. And she did. Celeste Catherine was born. Another healthy, beautiful little girl. Shanann now had 2 daughters. 2 miracles. 2 pieces of her heart walking around outside her body. She was building the family she always dreamed about. The family doctors said she couldn't have. Every moment with her girls felt precious. Every laugh, every hug, every tiny milestone. Shanann captured it all. Photos, videos, memories. She documented everything because she knew how lucky she was. She knew these babies were her greatest achievement. Nothing else compared. Not career, not money, not anything. Being their mom was her purpose. And she was the best mom she could possibly be. Let me tell you about Shanann as a mother. She was hands-on in every way. She didn't just watch her kids grow. She participated in every second. Bella and Celeste had special traditions. Birthday celebrations that lasted for days. Bedtime routines with songs and stories. Little moments that felt big because of how much love she poured in. Shanann taught her daughters to be confident, to be kind, to believe in themselves. She wanted them to have what she had. That inner strength, that determination, that ability to dream big. Her parents watched her mother those girls. Sandra says Shanann was a natural. Like she was born to do this. Like every hard thing she went through prepared her for this moment. Shanann's whole world revolved around Bella and Celeste. Their happiness was her happiness. Their smiles were her reason for everything. And then, something even more miraculous happened. She got pregnant a third time. A baby boy named Nico. 3 miracles. 3 chances that shouldn't have happened. 3 beautiful reasons to keep fighting. Shanann's family was complete. Or so she thought. But her heart was bigger than just her own family. She had so much love to give, so much kindness to share, and the world was about to see it. Shanann had this gift. She could bring people together. Complete strangers would become friends at her gatherings. Shy people would open up around her. Lonely people felt seen. She remembered details about everyone. Your kid's name, your favorite food, that thing you were stressed about last month. When you talked to Shanann, you felt important, like you mattered, because to her you did. She maintained friendships across states, across years. Distance didn't matter. Time didn't matter. If you were Shanann's friend, you were always her friend. She showed up for people. Hospital visits, breakups, bad days, good days, all the days. People say she had this way of making you feel like family. Even if you just met her. Even if you barely knew her. Shanann's circle was huge because her heart was huge. Now let's talk about Shanann's work. She wanted financial independence. She wanted to provide for her family. She wanted to show her daughters that women can do anything. She worked with a health and wellness company. She believed in the products. She believed in helping people feel better. Just like she wanted to feel better despite her lupus. Was it traditional work? No. But Shanann made it work for her family. She could be home with her kids. She could build something of her own. She could chase goals while being present. Some people judged her choices, but Shanann didn't care about judgment. She cared about results. She cared about providing. She cared about showing her girls what determination looked like. And she was good at what she did. She built relationships. She helped people. She created a community. Her work ethic was incredible. Early mornings, late nights, always hustling, but never at the expense of her kids. Never at the expense of what mattered most. Shanann balanced it all. Mother, businesswoman, wife, daughter, friend. She wore every hat with grace. Let me tell you something powerful. When Shanann passed away, people came out of everywhere, sharing stories, sharing memories, sharing how she changed their lives. A woman she barely knew said Shanann checked on her during a hard time. Just because. Just to be kind. A friend from years ago said Shanann remembered her birthday every single year. Never missed it. A neighbor said Shanann always waved, always smiled, always made you feel welcome. These small acts of kindness, they added up to something huge. Shanann left a trail of love everywhere she went. Her positivity was contagious. When you were around her, you wanted to be better. Kinda, more present, more loving. Sandra and Frank raised an exceptional daughter. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But exceptional in the ways that matter. Generous with her time. Generous with her heart. Generous with her love. And she was about to leave the world one more gift. Though she didn't know it at the time. A digital footprint that would preserve her memory forever. Photos and videos that would show the world who she really was. Not a headline. Not a statistic. Not a case number. But a real woman. A real mother. A real life worth celebrating. Shanann documented everything. Thousands of photos. Hundreds of videos. Social media posts full of life. At the time, some people thought it was too much. Why share so much online? Why document every moment? But now we understand why. Those photos and videos became a time capsule. They preserved Bella and Celeste's childhood. They showed the world who Shanann really was. They proved that love is real, that joy is real, that her life meant something. Without those memories, we might not know the real her. We might only know the headlines. But because Shanann loved capturing moments, we see everything. Her laugh, her smile, her love for her babies, her silliness, her strength, her humanity. This digital legacy became her final gift to the world. Proof that she lived, proof that she loved, proof that she mattered. Shanann's story sparked conversations, important conversations, about trusting your instincts, about recognizing warning signs, about protecting yourself and your family, about the importance of speaking up. Her parents turn their grief into purpose. They speak about her life. They keep her memory alive. They make sure Bella and Celeste are never forgotten. Communities rallied together. Support systems got stronger. People started paying attention, really paying attention, to the people in their lives, to the signs they might have missed before. Shanann didn't choose to become a symbol, but her story helps others now. It reminds people to be careful, to trust themselves, to protect what matters most. And in that way, her legacy continues, not just in memory, but in action, in awareness, in change. Sandra and Frank lost their daughter, their granddaughters, their grandson who never got to be born. The pain they carry is unimaginable, but they choose to remember joy. They choose to remember love. They choose to remember Shanann's strength. At her funeral, people celebrated her life. They shared stories that made everyone laugh. They remembered the woman who lit up every room. The North Carolina community that raised her never forgot. They hold her memory close. They speak her name with love. Frankie keeps his sister alive through his memories, through his stories, through the lessons she taught him. Shanann's life wasn't defined by how it ended. It's defined by how she lived, with courage, with love, with determination, with joy. She beat impossible odds multiple times. She created a family that shouldn't have existed. She loved people deeply and genuinely. She made the world a little bit brighter. And that's how she should be remembered. Not as a victim, but as a fighter, a dreamer, a mother, a daughter, a friend, a light that still shines. So let me bring this all together. Shanann Watts was a fighter from day one. She faced a disease that tried to stop her. She beat odds that doctors said were impossible. She became a mother 3 times when science said no. She loved her parents with everything she had. She showed up for her friends without question. She worked hard to build a life she was proud of. She documented every precious moment with her babies. She made people feel seen and valued and loved. Her story is not about tragedy. It's about those 34 years she lived. It's about the little girls who called her mommy. It's about Bella's laugh and Celeste's smile. It's about Sandra and Frank, who raised an incredible daughter. It's about Frankie, who lost his hero. It's about a woman who proved that love conquers everything. That determination beats impossible. That hope is stronger than fear. Shanann Catherine Watts deserves to be remembered for her light, not for the darkness that took it away. She deserves to be celebrated, honored, remembered. This was her story. This was her life. This is her legacy. Shanann, wherever you are, I hope you know. You mattered. You made a difference. You were loved. You are loved. You will always be loved. Rest in peace, beautiful soul. Your light still shines. In loving memory of Shanann Catherine Watts. In loving memory of Bella Marie Watts. In loving memory of Celeste Catherine Watts. In loving memory of Nico Lee Watts. Gone from this earth, but never from our hearts. Forever loved. Forever remembered. Forever missed. If this story touched your heart, please share it. Help others remember Shanann for who she really was. A woman who loved deeply, who fought bravely, who lived beautifully. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for remembering her with love. And thank you for understanding that every life tells a story. This was Shanann's, and it deserved to be told.